We often hear that the United States is a democracy. Is it not, in fact, a constitutional republic?
Yes. We can quibble over words. The fundamental question you may be asking, I think underlying your notion is the degree to which the federal government, how much power ought it have? Mr. Jefferson tosses off terms like monarchist, and I will embrace that term. Every executive in every setting has characteristics of monarchy. You as citizens give up some of your sovereignty. You would have the right to live in Hobbes's world, each in your own little cave, stealing from your neighbor from time to time, but you come together in collective groups, you come together in towns and cities, and willingly give up your right to, say, rob your neighbor for the greater good of civilization itself. Is that monarchy? A society must be rooted in popular consent, but free from popular whim. And that is what the distance from the people that our system provides. Indeed, you are correct, but in your day you are so imprecise with language, I'm afraid, that you call Democrats Republicans, Republicans Democrats, democracies republics, and any number of terms. So, yes, trivially it is correct, but the fundamental principle underlying this is the notion of a strong national government, which I support and Mr. Jefferson deplores.
Well, let me just quickly say that the terms were interchangeable in our lifetime, too. People said republic sometimes said democracy. I was accused of being a Democrat. No democracy has ever existed except possibly that of ancient Athens. But I do believe that we can move towards democracy in the United States and that we ought to. A republic is a constitutionally limited system based upon a written constitution in which the people are sovereign. And we are a republic to the extent that each branch of our government leans upon the will of the people. Now, certain hedges were elected against the will of the people by the founding fathers who met in Philadelphia. One of them, the Electoral College. The other is the indirect election of senators. The Supreme Court, the judiciary, whose philosophies were largely articulated for this country by Mr. Hamilton in Federalist 78. All of those are ways of distancing our government from what Mr. Hamilton likes to call the whimsies of the people, but what I would rather call the will of the people. But it seems to me that we can move towards democracy, and my vision was of a decentralized one, a national government that took care of certain very limited national and international problems, defense, a squabble between Delaware and Rhode Island. But every other important activity of government took place at a state or local level. So a tiny national government with certain enumerated powers, rather stronger state governments, stronger counties still. And the center of our national public life would be wards or townships or hundreds, as I sometimes called them, 100 farmer citizens coming together in a public square. And they're conducting actual democracy. I said if we can decentralize the system thus until it ends in the republic of the township or even the republic of the farm, then I will say like the character in the Bible, nunc dimittis. Now you may dismiss me, for my work is done. The fact is, ladies and gentlemen, the closer government is to this room, the more responsive, the more frugal, and the more virtuous it is. And the farther it gets from this room, the more extravagant, the more insensitive, and the more tyrannical it becomes. So you must beware of consolidation. Democracy is not a bad idea. In some regards, it's an impracticable one, but we ought to move towards it in this, our republic.